What's going on, K-2s? What you guys have just seen is the famous Bob Carey pedestrian bridge coming out of downtown Omaha, going over Nebraska and Iowa over the Missouri River. The longest such spans in the United States as far as pedestrian bridges go. So, welcome back, K-2s. If you're new to the channel, I ask you to subscribe, like the channel. Let's share it with people who need to hear this piece of information. So today I want to talk to you guys about how do you start the process of getting out of debt when you're stuck. What do? I'll give you an example. Let's say a guy reached out to me. I'm Coach K-2. He got a hold of me. He's stuck. He's asking me, what should he do? Where do we go from here, right? Well, I will sit him down for a couple hours and we're going to decode the past. Well, what does decode the past mean? I think a lot of times we jump right into it. You hear people on social media or hear in the news or anywhere for that matter, when it talks about getting out of debt, you jump right into getting out of debt, right? You jump to the actual physical process of putting a budget in place, putting a plan in place and getting out of debt. You know, down the road, you want to build an emergency fund, so forth and so on. The one thing that I think that gets left behind and not talked about as much at all, and I think that's what really holds people back, is what I'm getting ready to say, is that you can't go back into the past. People don't go back in the past and decode the past. And what that means is that you have to go back, in other words, you didn't get to this point overnight, right? So it took some things in the past to get to where we are right now, right? For example, I grew up on welfare, right? Which led to my scarcity mindset as far as financially goes, which down the road led to some financial mistakes on my part, all right? Did that happen to you? Was finance talked about in your household? Was it not talked about? Did you grow up with a scarcity mindset like I did? Was money talked in a positive light in your house, right? So I'll sit this guy down and we'll kind of decode the past and how he grew up. Did he grow up in a single parent home? Did he grow up with two parents, that the parents worked and money was more readily available? That kind of thing. So we're gonna sit down and take a pen and paper and talk about those kind of things before you even talk about a budget. Okay, that's more important than anything else. And sometimes some of you may need more than just 2 hours. You may need a week, 2 weeks to figure out, to study yourself. This is about you. This is not about anybody else. This is about you and your financial future, right? So it does take some due diligence to sit down and chat with yourself, talk with yourself, go back and rehash the past. That's what this is all about, man. So that's what I would do with this guy. I would assess the situation, find out where he's at mentally, right? Because that's part of your past as well, right? If you grew up, guys, money was negative, and it created a negative disposition within you, then that needs to be talked about. That needs to be dealt with, right? It's the same thing with me. When I grew up, where we get our welfare checks, my mom would get her welfare check, for example, or food stamps, whatever, we would have to go out and provide for the household, right? And spend that compensation. Well, what happens is at the end of the month, you don't have anything left over, right? So in essence, you got more month left in the month than money, right? And that cycle continues, guys. It can continue, if you're not careful, into your adulthood, right? Because it creates that kind of mindset. And so after talking to this guy about those kind of things, we're gonna shift gears down the road. Fine, now we know where we're coming from. Now we know our past. Now we decoded the past. Now we feel good about ourselves, right? We feel empowered now to move forward, this financial thing, right? Okay, so I would sit him down maybe for a couple more hours, a couple weeks after that. And then I'm gonna have him bring a pen and paper or a computer and his bank statements, or his bank statements. I guess you can jump on a computer and online and get your bank statements, right? So what I want to do is get his bank statements for a year, okay? This is another assessment process, right? Now we assess him. Now we're going to assess his money spending habits over the last year, right? Now we're going to figure out how he got himself into this present situation with being in debt, all right? So we go back, look at all his, let's just say he's got a bank account. This guy is 50 years old. Let's just make it real easy. This guy is 50 years old. He makes $50,000 a year, and he has a bank account where he spends majority of his money off his debit card, right? Perfect scenario. Now, a lot of times, guys, you're not gonna have a bank account, so it's gonna be more tough for you. So you're gonna have to be creative and figure out, and it's not gonna be perfect, okay? Even when you have a bank account, you may spend cash on some things throughout the year, so it's not gonna be perfect. But as we can get it close to perfect, that's what we're looking for, okay? So you might not even have a bank account, but I ask you to go back and do the best you can with trying to figure out what you spent your money on. Okay, that's what we're going to right now. So his bank account, we're gonna go dive deep into it and find out what he spent. First of all, he's also gonna bring, I forgot to mention, he's also gonna bring his tax returns, right? So we figure out exactly, the first thing we're gonna figure out is how much came off his $50,000 on taxes, number one. Okay, we got that taken care of. Now we're gonna take a deep dive into his financial bank records, right? And find out how much did he spend on either his mortgage, rent, that kind of thing. Number two, we're gonna take care of that. We're gonna figure out how much money, and we're gonna go down the list, of course, categories, transportation cost, what he spent on gas, that kind of thing, food, his utilities, insurances. All the insurances will be listed separately, but in the same insurance category. So all these things will be breaking down. And then what I want you guys to do is create a pie chart. What I want this guy to do is create a pie chart. And you can follow along. So after we create this pie chart, we're going to do an assessment. And he's going to look at this and find out, what I spent my money on, right? He's going to look and see, well, damn, I spent my money on that much on entertainment. Are you serious? That much on food, gas, travel, really? So you can really be surprised throughout a year, 365 days, guys, how much you spent your money on. I know I did that when I first started my process, and I was surprised. All the times I went out to eat, it added up. And the pie chart don't lie, guys, when you get done. You got a bank account, you're gonna go through there, you might get depressed when you get done. It don't lie, okay? So then we can sit back and go, okay, by the time I get a chance to do the budget down the road here, I got a clear indication of where my mind is at, what I spent my money on. And when you go do your budget, you're cognizant of that, okay? You're very cognizant of that. So those things can really help you define what your budget is gonna be and going to the future. If you guys have any comments, any kind of suggestions, anything you want to add to it, what do you struggle with? Do you struggle with doing your budget when trying to get out of debt? Are you having a hard time starting the process? Where are you at in your process? Drop some comments down below and let's talk about it. You want to reach out to me? You're welcome to do that. You can reach me on Instagram at Kminustwo. I'm here for you. Let's talk about it. So remember, going forward, guys, think about these things as you go forward and where you want to go in your process. You can't go forward unless you know where you are right now. But sometimes when you stuck right where you are right now, you got to kind of decode the past and figure out, well, damn, I'm looking at a map. What roads did I take to get here? What road did I take to get here? Where is my misstep at? What wrong turn did I make? That's why you're here. But you can't know where you're going unless you know where you are right now. And you can't know where you are right now unless you decode the past. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you later. Kminustwo, chat with you. If you're new to the channel, I ask you to subscribe, like the channel. Chat with you soon. Peace. Look, guys, always remember, we've come too far to forget who we are. So let's take it to another level. Raise the bar. Only then can we toast two ancestor stars. Take care.